You all know about the Canadian Federal Startup Visa Program, but have you ever considered the Provincial Startup Visa Program? Although it's not exactly called the Provincial Startup Visa Program, it's actually packaged and disguised in a way that many applicants have never heard about this program. Forget the federal program, which is 50-50 chance of refusal or approval and gives too much power to the IRCC officers to decide on your PR application. Future is all about the provincial startup programs. As always, this video is about immigration facts and not fiction. Hello, my name is Reza and I work with the Ingwe immigration team helping applicants move to Canada. Whether it's for yourself, your kids, your business, or all of the above, we do make it happen. Let me make this clear. I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed team working on actual applications and communicating within the immigration department and overseas embassies on a daily basis, representing our clients. These videos are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience. And if you're thinking about immigrating to Canada, well, we can help. Get a free email assessment by filling out the form below this video for eligible applicants. The Provincial Startup Visa Program has similar processes as the Federal Startup Visa Program, but with a few exceptions and additional steps within the provincial program. As you may know already, provincial nominee programs always have additional steps such as nomination and eligibility before it's sent to the federal stage for your PR and work permit processing by the IRCC. This is one of my favorite Canadian business immigration programs for 2023 for eligible applicants who don't mind residing in the province of Alberta. Let's first review the advantages and disadvantages of this Startup Visa Provincial Nominee Program. Here are the advantages. The provincial program has a low investment amount of $50,000 or higher depending on the location in the province. No minimum net worth requirement. You're allowed to have a Canadian partner, PR or citizen in the Startup Visa Provincial Program. A high PR approval compared to the Federal Startup Visa Program. Since this is a relatively new program, the Provincial Startup, and not many applications have been submitted. The main advantage is that under the Startup Visa Program, the federal one, you have to wait 2.5 years to know if you're refused or approved. Lots of uncertainty. Under the Provincial Program, you will know immediately if your work permit is approved, paving the way to run your business for 12 months in the province, after which you receive a nomination for your PR through the province. It's very rare for IRCC to veto the actual nomination for PR. The key here is to understand that there's more certainty with the provincial program. Plus, it's similar to the federal startup visa before 2020. As you already know, for the federal startup visa program, post 2021, things have not been so nice. If you already have a business inside the province of Alberta and meet the minimum eligibility criteria for the provincial startup visa, for example, under an open work permit or closed work permit under a different program, you can switch over and apply under the startup visa provincial program and do not need to continue to run the business for 12 months if you've already done so prior to your application. But you do need to continue the business while your PR is under process after nomination. Less discretion of the IRCC officers when reviewing your work permit and PR applications under the provincial startup visa. The last advantage is that you could technically shift to this program if you're stuck under the federal startup visa program by obtaining a letter of support from the 2 incubators in the province. If you are not already a client of these 2 incubators, you could potentially still shift to this province and receive a letter of support to apply under the provincial program. Here, the disadvantage of the Canadian Startup Visa Provincial Program: there's education requirements which are mandatory under the provincial program, but not under the federal. If you graduated more than 10 years ago from your last post-secondary degree, you would not be eligible under the Startup Visa Provincial Nominee Program. You need minimum 6 months work experience as a manager or owner or working with an accelerator or incubator, unlike the federal startup visa program, which does not require any work experience. But keep in mind, IRCC will refuse you under the federal program if you cannot prove that you can perform the position you have been designated in your startup group in the federal program. You cannot apply as a group under the provincial startup visa program, but rather only as one applicant and potentially with Canadian partners. Minimum investment criteria is required. It is expected by IRCC, although the provincial program has strict minimum investment criteria. It's a direct PR stream, but the PR application will only happen after running the startup for 12 months inside the province and be nominated by the PNP. You may say that the federal startup visa program doesn't require this, but most people end up coming to Canada anyways under a work permit. So what's the difference? The geographic restrictions to reside and run the business inside the province. In the provincial program, you're bound by residing in the province, but in the federal program, you have no geographic restrictions across Canada. A net worth audit may be required to be completed by a designated third-party accounting firm. Although this is not 100% mandatory, they may request you to complete this step after you've been invited to apply for the Startup Visa Provincial Program. Here are the steps to go through the Startup Visa Provincial Nominee Program. Number 1, due diligence by the designated organization in Alberta based on your business plan and pitch deck. Number 2, letter of support, or as they call it, letter of recommendation from these incubators. Number 3, apply for your expression of interest through the provincial online portal with the letter of support or recommendation. Number 4, receive an invitation to apply from the province. Number 5, submit your documents and conduct the interview and net worth audit by a third-party designated CPA firm. Number 6, sign the business performance agreement with the provincial nominee office after you've been approved. Number 7, a letter of support for your work permit will be issued by the provincial office under the T13 LMI exempt work permit program, allowing you to apply for your work permit, enter Canada if you're not already here on a work permit. Complete the post-landing report and post-12-month report to be nominated for the PR application. And then the last step is, of course, receiving the provincial nomination certificate to apply for your PR application for yourself and your dependent family members while you're inside the Canada. Here are the costs to apply for this Startup Visa Provincial Nominee Program. Well, you're going to have costs with the designated organization or the incubators in the province. Each one will vary. You can be paying anywhere from $18,000 to $40,000 to the incubator. Really depends on your startup and the incubator. The provincial nominee application processing fee. It's a non-refundable 3,500 Canadian dollars. And then the third one is if they have requested a net worth audit on your application, a fee of anywhere from $4,500 and higher may be charged by a third-party CPA firm which has been approved by the provincial nominee office. And then the fourth fee is the IRCC processing fees for your closed work permit, which is $155, and your PR application fees to the federal stage, but that's after the nomination. Depending on your family size, these fees will vary. Let's go over the eligibility criteria for the provincial startup visa program. At least 6 months of work experience in management or owning a business or working with an incubator or accelerator on your startup business. Any post-secondary degree, a 2-year diploma is also accepted. The post-secondary degree should have been completed no more than 10 years from the date you apply on the online provincial portal. You need a business plan for your startup, a pitch deck for your startup, letter of support from the designated organization in the province, and a language proficiency score of CLB5 in either English or French. The startup business you're pitching should also be somehow connected to the following industries to be eligible: technology, aerospace, financial services, energy, agriculture, tourism, life science, and pharmaceuticals. That's pretty easy, right? Because most startups somehow have technology or one of these factors related to these industries. The next eligibility criteria is your ownership. Should be minimum 34% of the startup business if you're planning to establish it in the major urban areas such as Calgary or Edmonton. Or minimum 51% of the startup should be owned by you as the main applicant if you're planning to establish and run the business in a rural region of Alberta. If you do not own 100% of your startup, the rest of the shareholders can only be Canadian PR or citizens, no foreigners. A minimum investment in the business of $100,000 for the regional centers such as Calgary or Edmonton, or $50,000 if you're planning to set up your startup in the rural areas. In addition to the minimum investment funds, the required minimum settlement funds as per the IRCC are also mandatory, and they're based on regions for the province. And we have the table included in the article, which we're going to post on our website. The next step is to calculate your provincial points before entering the startup provincial nominee pool, which is a maximum of 200 points. Here are the criteria for the provincial points matrix. Language proficiency with a minimum of 10 points for CLB 5 up to 30 points for CLB 8 or higher in English or French. Education, minimum 5 points for bachelor's degree or a college 2-year diploma, up to a maximum of 15 points for a PhD. Business management or ownership experience, minimum 5 points for the bare minimum of 6 months, up to a maximum of 20 points for over 2 years experience or more. Bonus points can also be claimed if during this time period that you're claiming the points for your work experience, you were the owner of this business. Business plan. Your business plan will be graded from a total maximum score of 40. You can expect to receive 30 points or more for a well-written business plan. Refer to our business plan guide that we're going to post on our website with this video and article. We recommend to work with the incubator inside the province to hire a business plan writer to increase your chances of approval and have a proper research regarding your industry in that specific province. Investment amount. Proving the ability to invest the minimum funds of either $50,000 or $100,000 depending on the proposed location in the province. You can claim 5 points for the bare minimum investment amount, up to 25 points for larger investment amounts. Job creation can gain bonus points for you if your proposed business plans to create jobs for at least 6 months in the province for Canadian PR citizens. Bonus points of 5 points for one job, up to a maximum of 15 points for 3 or more Canadian jobs that would be created. Although it may seem a bit of more work than the federal startup visa program, it's actually not. 99% of all this information will be in your business plan and pitch deck for the provincial program. You just need to meet the education, language, and work experience and minimum investment requirements, and the rest will be the easy part. If you're thinking about immigrating, whether permanently or temporarily through skilled immigration, work permits, investments, or family sponsorship, you're at the right place. I can guarantee you only one point. You will know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, all the risks identified, including costs. There will be no surprises in terms of expenses or costs, just results. Our team speaks over 8 languages and we help applicants from over 48 different countries during their immigration process. And this list is growing every day. Click the link below this video and get a free email assessment for eligible applicants. If you're ready to apply and would like a one-on-one session with me or any of my colleagues at Ingwe Immigration, you can also book a session directly using the consultation link in the description of this video. And of course, if you have any Canadian immigration questions, remember we have our weekly live sessions scheduled on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram every Thursday at 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your questions for free on the spot. See you next Thursday.